Morning. I'm very proud to be announcing some very positive news today. Mount Vernon continues to grow safer. Serious crime in the city is down a dramatic 32% since 2011. And it's not just me saying that. These are the police department's statistics, and they're annual, and they're on the boards that are surrounding us. With me is Police Commissioner Shawn and some of his leadership staff. And it's important to emphasize that fighting crime is a team sport. So I'm proud to also be joined by several of the partners critical to our success. We have the ATF represented here today, NYPD and MTA Police, the State Police, the Westchester County Police, the Westchester County District Attorney's Office, and our school resource officers, and many others. William Sweeney, the Assistant Director in charge of the FBI New York Division, could not make it today, but he sends us his support. Nothing government does is more important than protecting public safety. Mount Vernon as an urban city certainly has its challenges. Just this past weekend we had some serious fires and a stabbing, but thankfully there was no life lost in either case. But it shows the risk is always with us, and no city can ever eliminate it completely. But we can mitigate the risk with the right people and the right policies in place. So today's story is how our people and our policies continue to make Mount Vernon safer. Let's go to the boards. Each week, the Mount Vernon Police Department tracks 7 major crime categories, and they publish the results. This is part of my administration's commitment to transparency. The weekly reports are compiled into annual reports. The crime fits into 2 categories: crimes against people, rape, murder, and aggravated assault, and crimes against property, burglary, robbery, grand larceny, and grand larceny auto. The findings for 2017 show a 32% drop across these 7 major categories. So chart 1, board 1, when you look at these categories, you see that crime is down 32% since 2011. This is serious crime going down. Not only the drop is dramatic, but it's important to show that it's continuous. Compared to last year, these serious crimes dropped. Now where's chart 2? Chart 2 right here to my right, your left, you see the arrow going down. 8% from 2015, 10% from 2014, 29% from 2013, 23%, 2012, and 32% since 2011. Year over year in chart 3, to my left, your right, you see across the major categories, you have crime going down approximately in the 7 categories down 32% versus 2011. When you look across the chart number 4, you see that rape is down 42% and murder is down 36%. The real progress is against the most serious crimes being committed and against those individuals. The results of other crime categories show that robbery is down 19%, burglary is down 16%, grand larceny 20%, and grand larceny auto 21%. Aggravated assault is down 5%. There's still work to be done, and it's obviously that we have some areas of improvement, but that's why we rely on our partners, and we continue to open our doors like never before to challenge everyone to get engaged and work together on solving these issues. The Commissioner will talk about the initiatives that he's working on right now with us in the next few moments, but I just want to close with a few words on management. Nothing is more important than having the right people in place, the right operational plan, and everything is dependent upon people. Earlier this month, after a nationwide search and the recommendation of our citizens group, Commissioner Harris was permanently installed as our city's top cop. Other leadership appointments in the administration were also made as well. But this gives a strong management team to move Mount Vernon forward. One of the right things that we want to make sure we have is the right fit with the right insights, with the right knowledge to understand our community and to make sure we understand that we are implementing the right policies to solve them. It's also worth noting that we have a strong management practice in place. For example, each week I sit down with the Commissioner, the top brass of the department, and we review everything from the past week from top to bottom. This helps us exact accountability, but also understand what the operations are operating like as we move forward in the coming weeks, and create better plans to make sure that our businesses, our children, and our residents and the visitors are safer as they come visit our city. The progress is there, the statistics show it, and moving into 2018, the city's crime fighting capabilities will get a major boost from 15 new officers. And all this shows that the quality of life in Mount Vernon is on the upswing. And the trajectory for our future is sustainable, tangible, and expandable. So thanks to our police department and our law enforcement partners for making Mount Vernon safer. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Commissioner Harris, and he's going to provide a few remarks. Commissioner.
Thank you, Mayor. Drops in crime don't just happen on their own. I'd like to point out 4 factors that have contributed to our success. 1, the strategic deployment of our personnel. As the mayor previously stated, that we just got an increase in our manpower of 15 police officers. So the past year, we were forced to do more with less. So with intelligence-led policing, we deploy our personnel to high crime areas and to areas where we see an uptick in crime. Also, we work with the district attorney's office to keep the criminals off the street. So we have to build stronger cases, prosecute them, follow them through to conviction, and make sure that we don't have the same people on our streets terrorizing our residents. One of the key factors is our partnerships with our law enforcement agencies, federal, state, county, local, whether it's through our partnership with our federal partners for investigations, our state and county partners for our local initiatives, or our local police departments like the MTA and NYPD, where we deploy joint operations. We are constantly thinking outside the box. That's why we have deployed 10 school resource officers in our schools to build those relationships with our young people, with our community. We also have initiatives where we do community engagement, community immersion programs. We are building relationships with the community because those are the ones that are going to support us and help us continue to reduce crime in our great city. So besides those reasons that we're all here today, I just want to publicly thank our law enforcement partners for their continued support, because without you and the hard-working men and women of the Mount Vernon Police Department, we could not have achieved the goals and the stats that we've achieved today. So in closing, I just want to say thank you to those men and women, and we're going to do more in 2018. It's only going to get better.
So before we open it up for questions, I just want to make sure that Mount Vernon knows that we promise safety, we deliver safety. We promise a better quality of life, we're delivering that. And the key objective is to show transparently that we have more work to do, but the numbers are showing. And we're really excited about where we're taking this next, because many of the agencies that are here today, we've been strengthening our relationship with them since we've entered office, and we're really excited about what's going to happen next. But before I open it up for questions, just want to invite the ATF if you want to provide any comments, and then state police, and then county, just so we can make sure that we hear from our partners.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Commissioner. I'd just like to add that the ATF's core mission is to combat violent crime and to rid the streets of illegal firearms. And to that end, we always look to partner with our federal and local counterparts to make the streets safer. This is an example of that force multiplier effect in action. And we look forward to working with the City of Mt Vernon and all the partners represented here today to make the streets safer for all the citizens of the great city.
Thanks.
Thank you.
State police? County? County like to say anything?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Commissioner Harris. Just to reiterate everything that was said here, we have a tremendous partnership with the Mount Vernon Police Department. Recently, we have put together a task force with the District Attorney's Office to combat the tremendous heroin problem that exists, and we stand by Mount Vernon and the Police Department to assist them in any way that we can. Thank you.
So with that, there is a statement from the FBI. It was distributed, I believe, in writing. So if you want that, it's in the packets that you received. So with that, we'll open up the questions.
It's really interesting that you brought members of the NYPD and MTA here for the press conference today. Can you talk a little bit about their role in curbing this crime rate?
Yes, and where's NYPD? Want to come on up? So we share a border, and the MTA also has a headquarters here in the City of Mt Vernon precinct. And Mt Vernon has a unique feature. We have 3 Metro-North train stations, unlike any other city in this region. So having their partnership, having their support is instrumental to increasing safety for our commuters. And it really sets us apart from other places that may not have the types of coverage we have. So I'll open it up to NYPD to just make some broader comments about the new level of partnership that we've established along our borders, because they're porous. They're not, fixed or divided by a wall. But just know that we are, focused on making sure we communicate and collaborate on a weekly basis. So.
Good morning. My name is Deputy Inspector Eric Hernandez. I'm the commanding officer of the 47th Precinct, which is the NYPD's police precinct just south of the City of Mt Vernon. As the Mayor said and Commissioner Harris said, we have very mutual interests, whether in regards to criminal activity, information sharing, quality of life issues. We are working in partnership with our neighbors in Mt Vernon. Crime and quality of life have no jurisdictional borders, and it is of mutual interest to both agencies to share information and work together to continue to combat crime and improve the quality of life, in particular on the borders of Mt Vernon and the City of New York.
And I just also want to emphasize, the school resource officers are really part of the secret here, making sure that the families know that they have a relationship and they can start communicating more forthcomingly with the department, because having that trust is what leads to diffusing or de-escalating issues that could spiral out of control. Next question.
Mayor, good morning. Can you explain what GLA means on this board? And it's over there also, and then right behind you it says GTA on the bottom. So
yeah, this should be GLA as well. Grand larceny auto. You want to define it? Just so it's...
Yes, that's just the criminal statistic reporting for motor vehicles that have been stolen. So it's grand larcenies of autos.
Can you talk a little bit about how the mobile precinct helps? I know that was something that you pointed out in your press release. Explain for the common viewer who might not understand the value
Sure.
of that.
So once upon a time, there was a place called Sue's Rendezvous, and it was a haven for crime and illicit activity. And we made sure that whenever there were, activities that invited that type of negative atmosphere, we deployed the mobile precinct to kind of be there, be visible, to send a strong signal that we're not tolerating it no more. But that, since Sue's has shut down and is not opening again, we're looking forward to repurposing that mobile command precinct to be more of a community precinct, something where the neighborhoods can get used to, get to know the officers, and have multiple uses for the City of Mt Vernon. And one thing I'll add is just, as we have large quality of life events, for example, we have many summer concerts. That precinct will play a role in making sure that there's broader safety in partnership with our other federal partners at DHS to ensure that we have a strong safety net around.
For the Commissioner. So the numbers point to all signs going down. What do you say to folks who may not feel this in their own neighborhoods?
Well, that's a good question. But this is overall crime, and if they feel that they're not safe in their neighborhoods, then they should let us know and become more active in their community, whether it's a neighborhood watch or community program that can work with the police department, and we can address those concerns in their neighborhood. So then that way we can make them feel a little bit more safer if they're not seeing it directly where they reside.
I know last year you guys talked a lot about how you were down a lot of men, police officers. has that been corrected? Are you still down a lot? What was that situation?
Well, we just had a class that graduated in December, and they're going through the field trip. They're about to start their field training process, and then we have another 15 in the academy now that should be graduating around May.
And this is why I'm proud to share these results, because this was done without funding, proper funding for the department. And we understand that you know, we have challenges and we have room to improve, but you can't take this away from the hard-working fine men and women at the Mount Vernon Police Department. You know, we went from an unusual set of circumstances, not having the funding in place for many different positions, but we still were able to rally our partners. We dug deep and we really delivered safety for the city. So I'm really proud, and that's why we wanted to call attention to their results this year.
Is the partnership why you were able to overcome that budget deficit?
The partnership is a critical component. And being able to, on a weekly, sometimes daily basis, being able to communicate with our partners that we're seeing trends in this area, you know, what do you see? Asking questions, constantly looking out for new opportunities to deliver a stronger safety net, and working with them to just bridge gaps that we just couldn't bridge without them. So the partnership was essential, and we look forward to strengthening that, especially with the presence of ATF helping us you know, get illegal firearms off our streets.
Anybody else?
I wanted to ask one question too. Is there anything that you can attribute to the increase in the grand larceny and grand larceny auto from one year to the other?
Yes, and I think there's a video that our chief of police and our deputy chief released a few weeks ago that speaks to that, and I'll invite you want to have Chief Zadie to come talk about some of the situation. Based on what we recall, it's just smash and grab. It's people grabbing stuff out of, you know, what they see in the front seat of a car. But I don't know if Chief, you want to expand on that a little bit?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. This basically crimes of opportunity. People leaving items on their car seat or open in the air of the car. People pass by, see it, just as the mayor says, smash glass, go in and grab it. And especially over the holidays, we saw a lot of that because people were buying their packages and stuff and leave it there. Same thing with some of the UPS delivery stuff that were on the front porch of people's houses and stuff, and they took it. We adjusted our policing to be more vigilant in that, and it's gone down.
So to piggyback on that, I would just like to add that this isn't a Mount Vernon trend. This is a regional trend. This is going on all over the county, all over the state. All police departments and municipalities are dealing with this trend. So this issue with the increase in the grand larcenies from autos and the grand larceny of autos is not specific to Mount Vernon.
Anybody else? If anybody wants to come down, we have the community mobile center and the new technology squad cars. If anybody wants to get some shots down there. Okay?
Thank you all.
Backup camera, I can see the person coming. So it alerts me that someone's actually behind me.
Can you explain that for us one more time?
Okay, there's a button on.
Hang on one second, let me just show this on, because I want to hear you say that.
The car is equipped with something called surveillance mode, which was installed by Ford. When you hit the surveillance mode button, there's a button down on the console. It turns on the backup camera. The backup camera. Because he's standing behind it, it's going to continue to do it.
It also automatically closes the windows?
It rolls up the window, it locks the door, the backup camera turns on, and it alerts me that somebody's coming up from behind me. So I don't get ambushed. And yes, there are officers that have been killed recently, especially in New York City, approached from the rear. So this was something that Ford installed in a lot of the vehicles. The department installed it in this car, and that allows us to have a little more safety when it comes to doing our police work.
So this was one of the things that the mayor said attributed to the decrease in crime. How does that play a role?
Everything that we do is integrated. We moved a lot of the police work, things that we needed to come off the street previously, like sending a report. We had to walk into headquarters before, write a report, submit the report to the supervisor. I can actually type the police report here completely, send it to the supervisor. They can make any kind of changes, and we can stay out on the street visible. That by itself is a great crime deterrent, because now I'm not coming off the street to do paperwork part of this job.
Now, how many of those vehicles are already circulating?
Actually, each of the cars that we have on patrol has a computer that does that. Numerous other cars, not this one specifically, but other cars have the license plate readers that alerts us automatically to stolen vehicles, stolen license plates, people that may be wanted, and that's done automatically without actually having to look at this vehicle. The computer will literally alert me that something is going on, and we use that to go and actually arrest people.
And then you're able to stay on the street longer and not have to go in and file a report.
Correct.
Look up the license plate number, etc.
Yes, and that's without using the radio. I can do all this stuff, run license plates without actually using the radio, which allows me to be much more efficient out on the street.
Officer Addison.